Coming up next on Arizona Horizons Journalists Roundtable, an early voter poll reveals two frontrunners in the GOP primary, and the governor's political action committee is under fire. Those stories and more next on the Journalists Roundtable.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizons Journalists Roundtable. I'm Ted Simons. Joining us tonight, Jeremy Duda of the Arizona Capital Times, Howard Fisher of Capital Media Services, and Luigi Del Puerto of the Arizona Capital Times. New poll of Maricopa County Republican and Independent early ballot voters shows Doug Ducey and Scott Smith running 1-2 in the gubernatorial GOP gubernatorial primary. Tell us more about this poll. Any surprises here? What's going on?
Not too much. I mean, first of all, keep in mind this is a poll just in Maricopa County and just of early voters, people who have already turned in their ballots. This is by a Republican consultant named Burt Coleman, who's not tied to any of the campaigns. You know, he loves doing these kinds of polls, and this showed Ducey up with about a 4-point lead, I think, among people who've already turned in their ballots, but Smith with a big lead among independents, which I think, you know, is kind of the conventional wisdom that the more independents you vote in this primary, the better it is for Smith. So, you know, the numbers look fairly good, although Burt Coleman did another one of these polls about a week ago, and that showed Smith up by a few points. So even here, you kind of see Smith maybe sliding a little bit.
Oh, look, all of this polling is fascinating. I mean, we love this as journalists, you know, the horse race. Who's ahead? Who's behind? It's the trends you look for. I mean, look, at one point a couple of weeks ago, we're talking about Christine Jones being in the top tier. Well, having already put over $2 million of her own money in, she's put another $700,000 in, and you know, some interesting commercials out there. But she's fighting for her life as Smith and Ducey sort of suck all the air out of their grace.
What happened to Christine? What's going on there?
Well, there are some theories that she might have peaked too soon. That some of the stuff that she had said or written or tweeted before, that some of that start beginning to hurt her. The fact is that we see two broad trends in all these polls. One is that Ducey has been maintaining his lead, and Smith is gaining. So those are the two big things that we are seeing in all of these polls recently.
Yeah, you see, you know, like you said, the trend you see is Ducey the lead and Smith kind of pulling into that second place spot to a greater or lesser degree, depending on, you know, who's putting out the poll. The pro-Ducey folks have Ducey with a bigger lead. The pro-Smith folks have Smith with a bigger one. But I think Smith has a real problem here in that the guy doesn't really seem to have any money. You know, he's been off the air for a few days. He just announced a new ad today that's, I think, just a cable buy just in the West Valley. So they're talking about having a lot of momentum. You know, they said, well, we raised $100,000 in the last week since the Brewer endorsement. I think Ducey and Jones have probably spent 3 times that amount each in that same period of time, plus they have independent expenditures. And I don't know how much more money's really coming in.
And that's the key. Those IEs are out there. You've got the 60 Plus organization, you've got the Free Enterprise Club, just throwing mud everywhere. Now, what's going to get interesting, and I know we're going to talk a little bit more about this, is there's another IE out there waiting to strike, and that's the one that Jan Brewer runs, her Arizona's Legacy. Now, she's only got about $600,000, though she's continuing to raise money. How much she wants to put behind Smith, I don't know, but she could make a difference out there in terms of helping push some of his numbers up and attacking others.
Now, what was really interesting in seeing is whether the governor's endorsement of Scott Smith had made any sort of a bump in the last couple of, or 2 weeks or so. In a poll that was commissioned by Ducey's campaign, which was conducted by High Ground, a consulting firm, it showed that it might have had some impact within the last couple of days or so, but still, Ducey is maintaining his lead. I mean, that's what you're seeing in all these polls.
He's maintaining his lead, but as you mentioned when we started talking about this latest, the Coleman poll included independents, and just independents only. Smith at 34, Ducey at 23. That's a big margin. The question is, will those independents, obviously the early voters are there, but will they come out on election day?
They may. I mean, everyone kind of expects higher than usual independent turnout. Now, the flip side of this, one of the polls today from a pro-Ducey group has Ducey leading by a couple of points among independents over Smith. So I know we've been sitting around for months trying to figure out which of these polls to believe. I don't know if we really trust any of them that much, but like Howie said, you follow the trends more than anything.
Right, and there's this narrative that's emerging that supposedly the only way for Scott Smith to win this race, given the fact that he doesn't have that much money to spend on TV and advertising, would be if the independents would show up and vote. Now, what we are hearing from the Maricopa County Elections Office is that independents are requesting more ballots. They are turning in more ballots than those who have ever, by I think double digits, and more than the number that turned out and cast their ballots in the last cycle.
There's one other factor at work, and that's Andrew Thomas. I believe that his supporters, it's going to sound funny to say, probably lie to pollsters, much in the same way in 1986 Ed Meekum supporters lied to pollsters and left everyone surprised. Thomas is going to poll in the double digits, and if those votes are taken away more from Ducey than they are from Smith, and that could change the dynamics, that all of a sudden you've got these Thomas folks coming in, this conservative wing, and folks saying, let's go for real conservative.
And real quickly, before we leave this, that Coleman poll just of Maricopa County early voters, Thomas is in third place, 11%.
Yes.
I mean, he's ahead of Jones.
That's also true for the High Ground poll that was released yesterday. Andrew Thomas tied with Kristen Jones on third place.
And again, as you mentioned, that just got to drive Doug Ducey's camp crazy.
Oh, it does. It does. And I think that there's going to be a lot more folks who are actually going to turn out, that he strikes certain chords in certain groups.
And
I think it's probably driving Christine Jones crazy a little more, because she's the one who's been, I mean, she's made, seal the border, stop illegal immigration. That's been her theme, for months, basically since she got into the campaign. And here's Thomas, who, you can't beat Thomas on those issues if that's what you care about most.
Well, but he's also taken on the gay lobby. Now, remember that. Now, had Christine taken on
He's
the
the
gay
only one
lobby.
doing that.
Well, you got to think about one thing. Andrew Thomas has been very consistent in his message, and you just think about that for a sec.
All right, can we stop thinking about that now?
Yep.
Okay, let's move on then. Now, you mentioned money, and you mentioned that the governor is kind of getting in here as far as her political action committees and her groups are concerned. Again, driving Doug Ducey crazy, and he may do something about it.
Well, what's interesting is that this whole story that I wrote about was actually shopped to me by the Ducey campaign. They say, would you really want to look into whether there's some violation of the law? The law says independent expenditures have to be truly independent. You can't have a candidate say, here's what I need, and then the IE, in this case, Arizona's Legacy, come in and solve that. And they're saying, well, we don't know exactly what went on, but we know they've been talking a lot. We know that Smith supporters met with the governor, showed her some polls, public polls notwithstanding. And so I think they're trying to scare Jan off. She don't scare. She basically said, you've got to be kidding. I know what the law is. We're going to spend money. I'm going to elect. But they're really scared of what Jan's going to do, to the point that they're trying to saber rattle on this.
What is the law as far as it's obvious it's her? We don't know how much she has to say regarding where the money goes, but I'm guessing she's got a little bit of something to say there. And if she's with Smith on the campaign trail, how close? What is coordination? Define the word.
Well, it depends. Are they sharing strategy? Is Smith telling her about the specific needs of his campaigns or his campaign, what he really needs to do, or is it based on a general, well, maybe I'll run some ads saying, Scott Smith is great for this reason. Those are two different things. Even if they're talking, you're allowed to talk, as Tom Horn has reminded us very frequently over the last 2.5 years. You are allowed to talk, but it's all about what are you talking about.
And that's the key. And one of the stories that Jeremy had this week was a great story, is you have a candidate for the legislature out of Sierra Vista who said to the governor, gee, I need, the governor said, how can I help you? Well, I need money for mailings. August 11th,
yeah.
all of a sudden there's some mailings. See, now that, there may be an actual trail there. I think what Ducey is alleging, and note that there hasn't been any money spent by the governor yet, what Ducey is alleging is sort of innuendo and hoping to get her to back off.
Headed off at the pass.
And talking about the candidate out of LD Legislative District 14, her opponent, David Stevens, an incumbent legislator, yesterday filed a complaint with the Secretary of State's office, basically accusing her of coordinating with the governor's office, precisely because of the comments that she has made to the Yellow Sheet Report, a sister publication of ours.
Is it sloppy a little bit on the governor's part?
The governor and Susan Seifert's part. My colleague wrote this for the Yellow Sheet Report, and she said, Seifert was talking about when she met with the governor to talk about her endorsement, because she's part of a whole slate of legislative endorsements. And according to Seifert, she said, what can I do to help? She said, well, we're pretty lean on money for mailers. Lo and behold, here's about $8,000 worth of mailers, and she says this on the record to a reporter, and immediately, her opponents, they take very quick notice.
And what's really funny about this whole thing is that mailer has to disclose certain things, right? Like who paid for it, and the biggest funders, the biggest political committee funders of the IE that's making that spending. So on that mailer, there's a group called the Arizona Technology Council that was a funder of Arizona's legacy. And what's interesting is that this group has actually endorsed David Stevens and Mr. Gowan in that race. So now they are their name is on a mailer opposing the candidates that they have endorsed.
All of which goes to show you, if you give money to somebody else to spend, kiss it goodbye, because you don't get to say how it gets
They
spent.
are asking their money back. That's what their
The technology council is saying he wants his money back. I guess
They
so,
want their
because
money back.
he didn't even know where it's going anymore.
Yeah, and they may not be the only ones. This, Arizona's legacy, this was ostensibly set up to support the pro-Medicaid expansion Republicans. They all knew that they put a target on their backs by voting for this. Brewer and her allies started raising money. A lot of money from the business community. And now the governor's talking about maybe spending some of this nest egg, as she put it to Howie and I, to help Smith. Well, a lot of the people and organizations who gave money to this, they're not supporting Smith. It's a lot of business community folks. A lot of them are, but a lot of them are supporting Ducey. There's a few Bennett supporters, at least, in the mix. And these people are not going to be happy if that money starts going out to help Scott Smith.
They still gave to the IE group, though. And the question is that how do you really say no to the governor when the governor's asking?
Well, all right, we'll leave that at that. Let's keep moving here. Adam Quasman reveals that he has a slow-growing, it's lymphocytic leukemia diagnosed a year ago,
Yes.
yet now we find out about it. What's going on here?
Well, his statement is, look, I was feeling tired. I went to the doctor. Doctor did a blood test. Finds out you have this disease that affects white cell production, and says, look, this is something that tends not to kill you. People live and they die with it. Although most of the time people get it when they're older, and he's still in his 30s. He said the word was getting out that he was sick. People have seen him at the University of Arizona Cancer Center. Some of his colleagues at the legislature knew. So he said, I want to get ahead of it. Now, simple way of doing that is you put out a release with a copy of your doctor's statement, end of it. No, I've got to have a press conference at the Capitol with the state seal behind me, because he had to point that out, to say, and I'm here to answer all your questions. Now, one of the great questions was, let's assume you lose the congressional race. You've got a pre-existing condition. You don't have insurance. Doesn't Obamacare help you, the very thing you're trying to kill? He said, well, yeah, but I have a different plan that will work for pre-existing conditions.
Well, it is interesting because he is so much against the Affordable Care Act. Even now he says that this is personal. He could lose access to quality doctors. He could have his health care rationed. Critics say that that's not part of the Affordable Care Act, but nonetheless, this is weird kind of stuff here when you're talking cancer campaigns, Affordable Care Act. That's a tough dynamic.
He maintains that it has nothing to do with his congressional race. He did say in one of the articles that I read that on that day that he went to the doctor when he was tired from his work, it was after a debate over Obamacare. That's what he said.
Well, it makes a fine campaign narrative no matter where the press conference is. And based on what we've seen, he's probably going to need it, although who knows based on how poorly some of his opponents are faring as well.
I was going to say, is that still Tobin's to lose, or is Tobin losing it?
It's hard to say. I think all three of them are kind of losing it right now. No one is really impressed out of that field. Everyone assumed Tobin was the runaway frontrunner. He's the Speaker of the House. He can raise all this money. Well, he hasn't really raised that much money comparatively. And even though his opponents have made some pretty serious missteps and gaffes that have even ended up on the Colbert Report and stuff like that, we haven't seen any polling showing him ahead. It could be anyone's game at this point.
One of the things also that I was just told this morning is that all the news articles that was created by Adam Quasman declaring that he has cancer, it's all over that part of the state, and many of them are saying that he is running against Kirkpatrick in the general election. So the theory goes that it is helping him. It might help him, especially in a race where everybody has got a low name ID, and frankly, no one's really raising money except Keeney's pouring in his own money.
But you've got another problem for Quasman, which is this is a very unusual district. Starts at the northern border, goes to the eastern border, around, up through Oro Valley, which is where he lives, and then back up into Casa Grande and Florence. He is on the tail end of this dog here, and this is a district that's been dominated by northern Arizona. So you've got a rancher from northern Arizona, and you've got a lawmaker who can see the district from his backyard, so to speak. It'll be interesting to see how this three-way race comes out.
Speaking of congressional races now, the Gallego-Wilcox race is absolutely fascinating, as we knew it would be, and it's really getting rough and tumble here. And now we have Gallego, the Democrat, has a fundraiser, and on the host committee is Fife Symington. And we should mention Paul Johnson, who's an independent, not a Democrat anymore, an independent, was hosting this whole thing.
Well, you know, we were trying to scratch our heads and try to figure out what is the connection, who owes who what. I mean, look, you've got to remember, Fife Symington owes his political career or what part of his life to Bill Clinton because of Clinton pardoning him. So there's all sorts of weird stuff. The best I can think is it less pro-Gallego and more anti-Mary Rose Wilcox. She engenders strong feelings among people. And I don't know whether Mary Rose crossed swords with Paul when he was the mayor of Phoenix or with Fife when he was running for governor or was governor. But whatever it is, I think it's more, I don't want Mary Rose than I want Ruben Gallego.
But does this help? The money that's raised from an event like this obviously goes into the Gallego coffers. Is that money worth the image of having Fife Symington supporting you at a fundraising event?
Well, it depends what Mary Rose Wilcox can do with it. You know, they immediately put out a press release today saying, oh, well, anti-immigrant Fife Symington is supporting Ruben Gallego because of some comments he made and testified in Congress in, I think, 1994, talking about the immigrant invasion. But, are you going to put it on a mailer? Are you going to put it on a TV ad? I mean, if you can't really get that message out that much, I mean, it's inside baseball.
Well, and I don't even know how many, let's talk about the turnover in the state. Do people remember Fife Symington? They say, well, he's convicted. Well, no, that was overturned. Well, there's a whole bunch of stuff there. I don't know what it means. Among some folks, being supported by a Republican is a death wish. I mean, we've seen this in terms of the Horn-Brnovich race, in terms of, well, you supported Pete Rios. But among most of the rest of the folks, they don't care.
But that is a race that seems to be a uber Democrat race.
It is a very Democratic district. There's no doubt about that. I think what clearly will happen is that whatever money that fundraiser will raise, Gallego will be able to use it.
Yeah. All right. Before we get out of here now, Tom Horn, Attorney General, he wanted a restraining order against the county attorney's office because Montgomery has already come out saying he doesn't particularly like Tom Horn.
Yes.
The restraining order request was denied. Any surprise there at all?
No surprise. I mean, for a couple of reasons. As the judge put it, he said, look, if every time somebody didn't like Tom Horn, they'd be disqualified, there'd be nobody left to investigate Tom Horn. Bill Montgomery certainly is supporting Mark Brnovich. He's made no secret of his disdain for Tom Horn. But Montgomery said, I am doing what prosecutors' offices do all the time. I am walling myself off, much the same way that Tom Horn says he's walled himself off from his own office's investigation of him. The judge said, I don't have any reason to preclude them from investigating. And if not them, who? Again, Pima County Attorney Barbara Lawal, who's a Democrat, Yavapai County Attorney Sheila Polk, who already has other charges against him. So it's no surprise there. But I think Tom's thinking like a lawyer instead of a politician. He says, I have a legal point to be made here, forgetting that every time one of these things come up, there's a story.
He presumes, and the judge said, why am I supposed to presume that the attorney's office is going to act unethically here? I can't do that.
Right. And the judge basically said, look, you can't disqualify everything that this office has done or is going to do based on the presumption that its head is leaning toward, politically leaning toward one way or another.
Now, in the end, it'll be interesting to see whether or not, even if you could get, Bill Montgomery and the Clean Elections Commission and whoever else disqualified, is it, a week and a half from now, it might not matter because that pretty much every poll has showed Brnovich ahead, except for the one today.
We got about a minute left.
And
hit us with this latest poll
That's the key.
here.
This latest poll by the Terrence Group, which is fairly well known for doing accurate polls, shows Horn with a 3-point lead over Brnovich. This is a guy we have discussed every week on Horizon, his legal problems, his ethical problems, the hit and run, the baseball cap, and the whole routine, and yet Brnovich hasn't been able to close the deal. Now, I don't know whether it's lack of money, or one of my colleagues today said, look, voters are simple. They want people whose names they can pronounce. And it may, heaven help, look, we had a Jerry Lewis in the legislature.
I know.
I mean, how did
Martin.
We had
Dean
Dean
Martin.
Martin and Jerry Lewis. Yeah, we had them both.
You know, what I'm saying is it really sometimes comes down to that. And what's interesting is that the more people like the Tea Party, the more likely they are to vote for Tom Horn.
Are we surprised that Horn is doing, at least in one poll, that well?
I kind of am. I mean, most of the polls we've seen have shown Brnovich up, but still not by double digits, or what you would expect from a guy who's faced, more than 2 years of, scandals on the front page, once a week. So, but he's got a lot of support among those Tea Party voters, like you mentioned, Howie, among conservatives. The same people who hated him 4 years ago as a squishy rhino love him now because he's been a very conservative attorney general.
He is a formidable candidate, and he has a consistent message, and that resonates within his base.
All right, we will stop it right there. Great stuff. It always is this time of year during the election season. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Monday on Arizona Horizon, find out how the Maricopa County Juvenile Court is streamlining the adoption process. And we'll discuss how Arizona's smoking ban affects the use of e-cigarettes. That's Monday on Arizona Horizon. Tuesday, an in-depth study of air pollution in Phoenix. Wednesday, how NASA and ASU are working together on the 2020 Mars mission. Thursday, the state's history comes to life through stereographic images. And Friday, it's another edition of the Journalists Roundtable. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great weekend.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of 8, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.